Ladies and gentlemen, Elon Musk here. I appreciate you taking the time to listen to my thoughts and updates on the various ventures I'm involved in a conversation I had with the folks of the All In podcast. I love that this podcast episode was summarized using AI with a tool called PodFast. This is why we need to keep building. Life certainly moves at a rapid pace for me, with so much happening across SPACEX, Tesla, X.com, The Boring Company, Neuralink, XAI, and the Musk Foundation. And lately, we've seen some exciting developments, as well as a few challenges that I'd like to share with you. Let's start with SpaceX. We've been working tirelessly to advance our space exploration goals, and one of the most prominent projects right now is STARLINK. I'm thrilled to report that Starlink's satellite internet connectivity is making strides. We recently conducted a test on an airplane, and the results were astonishing. The connection was not just good, it was better than what many people have at home. It's moments like these that remind me why I'm so passionate about pushing the boundaries of technology. Speaking of pushing boundaries, we have Starship, our colossal rocket designed for reusability. We're currently working on the second launch, and I'm cautiously optimistic about its success. We've introduced a new staging technique called hot staging, where we light the ship engines while the booster is still firing. This approach promises a more efficient stage separation, and while I can't guarantee success, I estimate a 60% chance of it this time, compared to below 50% in the previous launch. Now, let's touch on a sensitive topic, the recent Starlink controversy in Ukraine. I want to clarify that SpaceX has been providing Starlink services to Ukraine since the beginning of the war, and it has been instrumental in their defense efforts. However, due to sanctions against Russia, we had to suspend service to Crimea. When the Ukrainian government urgently requested that we turn it back on during an attack on Crimea, I faced a difficult decision. I felt that enabling it would be akin to proactively taking part in a major act of war, and I didn't have a directive from the U.S. precedent to do so. Despite the criticism, I face it. I believe I made the right call. I also want to emphasize the economic cost of supporting Starlink in Ukraine, which has reached around $100 million. We need to consider the risk to the entire Starlink constellation and the lack of compensation for that risk. Other U.S. providers supporting Ukraine are being paid, so it's puzzling why SpaceX is excluded. Nevertheless, we're committed to keeping Starlink operational and supporting the Ukrainian government in any way we can. Now let's shift gears a bit and talk about some broader issues. There have been suggestions that the Biden administration might have something against me, but I believe it's more about certain interests aligned with the president rather than the administration as a whole. I have concerns about the weaponization of government and the misuse of prosecutorial discretion, especially in cases that may seem trivial compared to more serious crimes. This approach may not resonate with independent voters, and it's something we should be cautious about. I'd also like to touch on the recent acquisition of Twitter and how it changed the game. The X platform, my vision for a level playing field and a supportive public sphere, aims to cater to the middle 80% rather than leaning heavily in one political direction, unlike other social media platforms. Twitter was notably biased toward the far left, suspending Republican voices at a much higher rate than left-wing voices. We need more balanced and fair platforms for public discourse, and that's what I'm striving to achieve. Now let's talk about technology and AI, which is a subject very close to my heart. In a world that's heating up, tensions are rising between the giants, particularly the United States and China. It's like a heavyweight showdown in the South China Sea, with punches in the form of restrictions on exporting U.S. technology to China, like the NVIDIA H100. This is just the beginning, and we're likely to witness a back-and-forth exchange of sanctions that could escalate tensions further. But amidst all this, we can't forget about the immense power of AI. It has the potential to surpass even nuclear weapons in terms of danger. That's why OpenAI was created in the first place, to prevent a single dominant force from controlling AI. However, it seems that OpenAI itself is evolving into a profit-seeking closed entity closely tied to Microsoft. Now, I'm not here to disparage Microsoft, but we must ask ourselves if they have a stellar track record in moral decision-making. It's like a battle between Google and Microsoft, with no clear winner emerging. So, here's where Tesla comes into the picture, like a dark horse in this race. We might be underrated in the AI game, but our real-world AI, especially in self-driving technology, is unparalleled. With XAI, I've created a contender for the digital superintelligence crown. But the question on everyone's mind is whether we'll release this technology to the world, just as we did with Tesla's patents. Well, it's not that simple. Chip designs can't be open sourced without significant investments, which run into billions of dollars. So, for now, Tesla's AI remains in our hands, but there's good news on the horizon. Our full self-driving FSD technology is steadily progressing towards perfection. The latest beta version is already impressively safe and is improving with every milestone. It won't be long before you might find yourself safer in a self-driving Tesla than with a human driver behind the wheel. In conclusion, this battle for AI dominance is far from over. It's like a steamy romance novel, filled with tension, power struggles, and unforeseen twists. Who will come out on top? Only time will tell. But one thing's for sure, this is a story that will keep us on the edge of our seats. I appreciate your continued support, and I'm committed to pushing the boundaries of technology and contributing to a brighter future for all of humanity. Thank you for your time, and let's keep looking to the stars and beyond. Thank you for listening to this PodFast of my conversation with the All In podcast team. If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. See you next time.